What's up, everybody? It's me, Jordan from the Posse. Joining me today, I have my co-host, the groovy one, Grant. What's up, Grant?
Yes, sir. Villain draft. Let's get it.
We have the phenomenal rapper. We got Paragon Don with us this evening. What's up, Don?
Yo.
And we have the best writer this side of the Mississippi River. We have Tommy with us. What's up, Tommy?
How we doing?
And today we come to you guys with a brand new One Piece draft. We've already done the One Piece Ultimate Power Crew draft. We've already done a One Piece Devil Fruit draft. Today we're doing a One Piece villain draft. And when I say by villain, I mean we're going to cover all the antagonists in the One Piece storyline. Any character that was kind of like in direct opposition to the One Piece pirates, well, to the Straw Hat Pirates, or pretty much he could have been an antagonist anywhere in the story. Just pretty much a bad person or somebody who went against what will be the protagonist. Those characters fit in this mold. The only characters we're kind of making off limits is kind of Imu, who we haven't really seen that much from in the anime. Most recently, seen some actual bad things from him in the most recent manga chapter. But just because we don't have a lot of data on him, we're excluding Imu from this draft. If you like the content, if you like what we do, make sure you guys like the video, make sure you guys subscribe, and drop in the comments what you're thinking about the draft, order, and maybe another One Piece draft you might want us to do, as well as maybe whatever Grant's doing, as well as let us know maybe another anime that you want us guys to do another draft on. But without further ado, I guess it's time for me to release the draft order. I've already randomized it. I'll now, which I might have actually kind of shown everybody what the draft order is going to be. But the draft order today is John first, Grant second, me third, and then Tommy is fourth, which Tommy's is kind of out of shot. His name is, but let me just resize that. Actually, oops. Yeah, that's supposed to be Tommy. There we go. Grant got two teams. We got two teams. Okay, so like I said, it's a snake draft. Starts with Don. He has the number one overall draft pick. It is up to him to decide right here, right now, who is the greatest antagonist in One Piece. So Don, the floor is yours. Who are you taking with the number one draft pick?
I can't lie. I did not want to go first.
I never want to go first. I was playing like I'm going second or third when we do these.
Them other two drafts, I feel like I would have been fine with going first. This one, that third or fourth is calling my name. I have a question before my first pick.
Okay.
Can the Celestial Dragons be one entity?
I mean,
I think the thing is though, if you do villain groups, you're gonna have to do like
CP0, and
you're gonna have to do all of them. Well, actually, that's kind of no.
That's why I was asking.
And we actually know individual Celestial Dragons too.
Yeah.
Who are actually awful people.
I don't know them niggas' names.
It's not like they're just like
I don't really know their names.
Niggas we don't know. That's the thing.
All right, bet. I think for my first pick, I am going to pick.
You're on the clock. Clock's ticking.
I gotta go. I gotta go Kaido. Excuse me. I gotta go
Kaido. So Don is choosing Kaido as the best antagonist in One Piece. Don, explain to us your pick, man.
I was going between Dofi and Kaido, but I think the thing that's keeping me with Kaido is the fact that he did it over a longer period of time. Not only did he kind of have control over Wano, but I mean, Dofi was going through Kaido to do the shit that he was doing on top of that.
Yeah, Kaido's a big dog.
For 2 decades at least, he had control over territory, had the samurai running to the past running to the future, excuse me, to fix what happened or to hope that there was some magical entity to fix the issues. He was a very integral part in getting his big top boiled alive. Really all he wanted was all out global war. Like, it didn't really matter like what was going on. Like what he wanted was just all out devastation. And I think that was really the thing. I think it's the longevity is what makes it him number one to me.
Grant, how you feel about that pick? No, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who are kind of underwhelmed by Kaido, in a sense. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I definitely like it. I mean, like, hey, he's into a saga. It took Luffy reaching extreme potential, and of course, like at least 40 niggas like jumping that nigga to take him down, and like also. That nigga was suicidal trying to jump off a cloud to kill himself because I don't know what was going on. I can't even remember what the reason was, but regardless, I'm not wild. I mean, like it's the end to it. He is probably the biggest. So you got Caesar, then you got Doflamingo.
He the big dog.
You got Kaido, and I mean, like it's an obvious pick, so I can't be mad at it. It's a good pick.
I'm not mad at it at all. Kaido definitely has been a pretty fun antagonist. He just didn't move me in the same way as maybe one or two other guys, but we're gonna get there. Grant was a number 2 off draft pick. I know you already know. You kind of already said it.
Let me
start recording. Go ahead and let me know who you pick with number 2 draft pick.
Number 1, when we first saw this nigga, we was like, what the fuck did he just do to what's the name? Jozo? What did he do? What happened? And then that nigga just got popped. That's it. The second time we see this nigga, all we get is a phone call saying, I'm on my way. It looked like this nigga flying over water and shit, pulls up on Smoker, take his chain. Well, Smoker ain't have a chain before that, but you get what I'm saying. Take his chain. Gotta have an admiral to come save him. We go back to his kingdom and shit. This nigga got people trapped in a fucking bird cage and they can't get out. His first mate, his mates got people turned into toys, basically running I didn't want to say plantation, but I almost said plantation, but a dictatorship, sweatshop, whatever you want to call it.
Name it.
There's so much shit that can, and not only that, not even present day stuff. Well, actually, also string bullets, string clone, his ability to just basically get anywhere in such a fast amount of time too. And this nigga backstory is crazy. They put that nigga on the cross and he said, you know what? I'm gonna get all y'all niggas back. Next thing you know, Doflamingo got a fucking pistol and pop old boy. And then he built his own crew, built his own family, all that other shit, and basically created an empire. Like, that man might be the Marlowe of One Piece. Except Marlowe ain't got he ain't have no person he answered to. But it's gotta be Doflamingo. Like, it's an easy.
That's all I was waiting on you to say, Grant. That's all I was waiting on you to say. I had it queued up.
It's gotta be Doflamingo, bro.
It's gotta be Doflamingo. It can't be anyone else but Doflamingo. Tommy, how do you feel about this pick? I think Grant already said everything you could possibly say about Doflamingo. But go ahead if you have any more words. If he missed anything.
I mean, if we're talking about fits, pure fashion sense,
okay, fit code
he's
too.
the best fit in the draft, like bar none. So
sure.
Great pick. Can't get mad at that at all.
I think like for Doflamingo, I think Grant says is like he's like past. You look at his past. He was from a kid was a villain. Pretty much shows you that he was rotten to the core. You see that he was willing to kill his own brother. You show how a master manipulator he is, not just by using his fruit, by just his words and the way he carries himself in his crew. And then he's the maniacal laugh.
He knocked off his dad. He knocked off his own dad.
He knocked off his own dad.
He is
Like,
a definition of a maniac. Like
he is a sociopath, bro. He gets joy out of seeing other people suffer. Now I say that's the thing that separates him and Kaido. Was I don't think Kaido necessarily gets joy out of seeing people suffer. He did things that made people suffer. Doflamingo got a thrill out of doing evil.
Doflamingo basically had like Bellamy like hostage and shit, and then had Luffy smack him upside the head for a second time.
No, what he did to Law, where he threw the Law across the entire island, then flew over there, ripped off his arm, and then shot him in the middle.
He was not even just ripping off his arm. He literally had that nigga like a mile in the sky, and basically sawed his arm off like straight down.
The thing is,
you mentioned how he can make string bullets. Instead of making a string bullet, he pulled out a literal gun and shot Law in the middle of the street like a dog.
Guns,
like, that's how disrespectful he is.
Guns in One Piece are like 5 for 5 right now. Like, as many things as people survive, you would think guns would not do that much damage. Guns did knock some niggas off. I will say that for a fact.
He had Virgo.
Nigga one of people who kill people with guns.
He had Virgo. First of all, his underling Virgo was going band for band with smoking and Law put in the shit, but that's kind of embarrassing on smoking part. But more importantly, that nigga had Virgo straight up knock off Corazon. It was so fucking nasty. If I remember correctly,
I really just think I very much it was very much a toss up for me. I love to pick a lot. Like I said, for me it's just like it's the longevity for me, but it's like Diane Taurasi and Maya Moore type shit. Like, you know, Maya Moore came in, damn, she got dubs, 7 years and left type. That's what Dofy was. Like, he ruled that kingdom for like half a decade, did it, top of the world, got knocked off. Kaido was like, all right, you know, I'm doing my shit over here. I might not be as brutal, but I'm doing my shit. Like, y'all niggas is starving. I got niggas. Kaido had niggas eating fake fruits. Like,
but you know, but then Doflamingo had people who were enslaved, and you know they forgot they were enslaved, and forgot they were enslaved.
Dofy had people. Not only did he take over their kingdom, but he had them think that their king went crazy, and he liberated them. That's what makes his OD.
Yeah.
Kaido was just kind of like, yeah, I'm taking over y'all shit, and y'all gonna have to watch me flex on y'all for like multiple decades. But don't like basically the opposite, or like, I'm gonna make y'all think I saved y'all, but really, every single one of y'all is getting for this. So
Kaido strong armed everybody. Doflamingo master manipulator. But we're gonna move on to the third pick of the first round. We did spend quite a bit of time on the first two, but they deserved it. I'm gonna just go with the guy that I talk about this often with Don. I talk about it often with Grant. I talk about it often with a lot of people. I'm gonna choose a guy who's, to me, the true embodiment of what a pirate is. He's shifty. He's dirty. He doesn't play fair. He goes for what he wants, and he gets it by any means necessary. I'm going with Blackbeard. I mean, how could I not? You consider he's knocked off one of Whitebeard's he knocked off one of Whitebeard's commanders in Ace, turned him over in order to get the title of Warlord, used that title to then knock off Whitebeard and steal his devil fruit.
He created honestly one of the most impressive anime manga tipping points we have ever seen, just by knocking off a stupid ass nigga.
Talk about, and by stupid you mean Ace, not Whitebeard. Be clear.
Yes, Ace.
Be clear. But he uses the fruit then to leverage his position into becoming a Yonko himself, and then uses that status to go around collecting devil fruits. He uses I also forgot to say his warlord status to get into Impel Down to get a crew worthy of being his crew. Then that doesn't even factor in what he did to Shanks, being, he was already seen by Shanks as somebody who should be, weary of, and he's just the perfect possible in-game villain for Luffy. where Luffy is this joyous, sunshiny, true, like Superman-like character, and then you have Blackbeard, who is just dirty, nasty to the core. So yeah, I'm going Blackbeard. And so with that being said, Tommy, you're on the clock. You got 2 consecutive picks in this draft. I know you've had some time to think about it. Who are you taking with the 4th and 5th pick of this draft?
Man, I mean, I feel like the holy trinity of villains, at least that we currently know of, got taking place of right now. But you know, we're talking about villains that were basically able to run a whole country, control territory, you know, have history on the board. Are they a little annoying? Definitely. But I gotta go with Big Mom on this one, man.
Big Mom. Talk about it.
The first time that she came up in One Piece, I don't think I ever felt so tense reading through it, with her basically running willy-nilly in her country because she was hungry and just murdering civilians because she was hungry. And the fact she's able to run basically a whole economy off of taking people's souls in exchange for protection is genuinely one of the most terrifying things conceptually I could think of. Let alone her backstory, where she's not even implied. She's basically just straight up like announced to be a cannibal, and that's how she got her fruit in the first place. I mean, she is scary, and honestly, I still feel like Law and Kid kind of lucked out with the matchup at the end of the day. But I mean, she's a fantastic villain, and I would never want to be anywhere close to that. For a follow-up, I gotta go with I refer to him as the One Piece Darth Vader, not because of family relations, but because of his presence. Also the dude that smoked Ace, aka the worst fire fruit user. I gotta go with Akainu on this one, man.
Don, talk to me. Akainu. How you feel about this pick as number 5th pick and the first pick of the second round?
I think he's the perfect representation of like perception is really everything. Because like from anybody, like you look at it from the average One Piece person's perspective, like a civilian, for example, like they probably think like this nigga Superman as far as they can see.
He's a protector.
He's a protector. He's a leader of the people protecting. Like he knocked off Goldie Roger's son. Like
that's a feat.
He's a really good man in the eyes of the people. I will say besides that, I mean, he's done some shit. I'm not gonna act like he's not done some shit. It's just I don't think he's gotten the opportunity for us to see him firsthand doing things. I think the main things we've seen is him killing Ace, and when the
Buster Call for Robin's family. He's the one who initiated that. Whole island gone.
When them people tried to run from Marineford and he killed them. That was also really OD.
Yes.
He's a hater through and through.
He's a hater. Yeah, I cannot wait until we see more of him. Like I love Akainu. I think he's a really, really dope like antagonist. I'm interested to see how, Oda is gonna do these final battles. I hope Sabo knocked my boy off. But yeah, he's
like 3 different people that deserve to knock him off. He's for real. That says a lot. That says a lot that in the end game, there's like 4 different people who should fight him in the end. That's how many people he's pissed off. All right, going on to number 6 pick of the draft and the second pick of the second round. I can't believe you're still here. This is great value getting him here at the 6th pick. He's basically, I might be a little wrong for saying this. He's kind of great value. Doflamingo, even though he did it first with taking over a country, but making the country feel like he was the savior of the country. But in the process, he ruined the country by using his devil fruit. I'm going with Crocodile. Crocodile was a phenomenal villain. He was the first villain to really, really, really push the limits of Luffy. Beat Luffy, I think, 1, 2.
He left Luffy body rotting in the desert the first time.
Yeah, he was the first villain.
You will make it in the
ass
big
multiple times.
He was first villain. I was like, okay, I'm legit scared for Luffy. Like, because the way they did in the anime, they just had like a big red screen, a big ass hook, and Luffy just laying on there.
I remember seeing that the first time. Like, I don't think I had ever seen a main character get fucked up while they in the middle of them talking ever before. Like, usually, you know, anime characters, like, they'll let people go back and forth, and they might, like, after you finish saying what you're saying, something like that might happen. But Luffy is reprimanding this man, and he just stabs him in the middle of his speech. Ain't never seen nothing like that. No. Then I was watching with my friends, and when Luffy come back with the water, I'm like, oh, bet he really about to get this dub. Crocodile snuffed him again. Like, whoa. I'm like, what is he about to do? How is this about to work?
And like, I give him this spot, and I actually had someone, like, after I picked him, I was like, did I really enjoy Crocodile the second most? Well, at least I know if it was anybody else and out of antagonists, I liked it better than Crocodile. And actually, there's somebody who comes very, very close. And I'm sure he won't be there in the third round for me. But I think it's like I said, Don. I'm young. I hadn't watched a lot of anime, and even after watching a lot of anime, I just have not seen many instances where the main character is just overwhelmed and beaten in the same arc, like in that early in the anime, like Crocodile did. Like Crocodile managed to do with Luffy. He was a great in-game boss for the Alabasta arc, which is, to me, is one of the arcs that really, really sets the tone for what One Piece is, with all the world building and all these moving parts and characters start coming together. So my hats out to Crocodile. We'll see what he does in Cross Guild. His stocks may rise, and this might be a sleeper pick by the time that One Piece ends. But all right, Grant, you on the clock. Let's hit it. What's your pick?
So the first pick is the pick I had in mind. I think nobody is gonna call this person until I think he'll still be there for the third round. But for this pick, I will go with Aokiji. And here is why. He was the first, without Aokiji or whatever, or I don't know how to pronounce the name, Luffy would have never gotten stronger. He is the battery in the back for Gear 2. He is so much of the reason as to why that Luffy had to realize, okay, I need to get my weight up and things like that. When they ran into that nigga, they had to, Luffy got his arm froze, and them niggas had to literally melt his arm off on that ship for days. And also him being such a, I think his charisma and just kind of like how he operates and gravitates, and of course now him being going against Garp and literally standing over that nigga now. I think he's just the perfect, like, he's just the battery. He's part of the battery in the back for Luffy reaching so much greatness, and I have to put him there.
Okay, all right. So Tommy, talk to me. How do you feel about another admiral going in the second round with Aokiji?
I think that's like the next best pick. Akainu, he won the Punk Hazard fight, but it took him 3 days of squabbling. So I think it's very close either way you look at it. I would much rather go hang out with Aokiji though than Akainu, which is why I think I chose Akainu over him. But he's very right that Gear 2 through 5 would not exist if Aokiji basically didn't one-tap every single person on the crew when he first showed up.
I do think that, like, in terms of like power and ability, he's definitely a formidable antagonist in the story. And Grant said, he was completely overwhelming for the Straw Hat Pirates. And he's just a very complex and interesting character overall, given his relationships and with Robin, with Garp. A great character overall. As he fits in the antagonist role. I do think there are a couple of other people that probably could have gone before him, but we're gonna talk about it. So Don, you're actually on the clock. You're picking 2 people back to back. Let's see it.
I think at the start of this, we were focused on people who were hell-bent on either destroying civilizations or owning civilizations or things of that nature. And I think that we assumed that we picked all those people, but I still think there are people left on this board who were doing damage wherever they lived. And I think I have to pick a nail, and I have to pick Hody Jones.
Hody Jones.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. And now was running Skypea for Lord knows how long and was smiting anybody who said anything about this man's name. Had a Buster Call level attack type thing where he was destroying whatever. Like they really thought this man was God for real. Like it wasn't even like everybody else was kind of like, oh, it's this really strong person that run everything. Like, no, they thought this man was God. This man took over who else was running before him and just like, you better not say shit. It was North Korea up there. Like, insane. And let me talk to you about Hody Jones. I know, sounds crazy, but I would like us all to remember that after he got done taking them perks, first of all, he killed the queen. He got the queen smited, and that basically started racism or sparked racism down there.
Yes.
2, he was going to destroy all of Fishman Island because he wanted to drop the Ark on Fishman Island. And if they drop the Ark, there is no ending of One Piece. Like with if whatever the theory is true, with like the Ark taking them back to, or when Luffy destroyed Fishman Island and the Ark takes them to, the surface, whatever. He was going to destroy everything. Like Fishman Island is big. Fishman Island is the only thing that the government don't run, and he was going to destroy all of it. I can't. I in good conscience could not leave that on the board. Was he good? I
can't remember why he was doing it. I'm trying to remember why was he trying to start.
It was because he. So boom, Fisher Tiger was like, I don't really fuck with humans, but it ain't right for me to not fuck with humans the same way they don't fuck with us because it's just gonna make a cycle. Arlong didn't fuck with humans because of things they did to him personally, and he had a vendetta. Hody Jones had no reason to not like nothing. Literally nothing. They did nothing to him. He just hated them just because. And so he like, I'm about to kill everybody down here. Racism was solved in Fishman Island. And he knocked the queen off and blamed it on other folk. Is he a good fighter? By no means. Zoro almost ended that arc in the first 15 episodes. But was he evil? Dear God, yeah.
Yes, pure evil. And I think that was like Oda's point was to create a character that embodies the hatred that can be born from racism. Because that was like the point. Like humans had never directly did anything to him, but he hated them as much as anybody else, if not more. And I think that he was a great antagonist when you look at it from a perspective of what he represented in the story. So by that mark, I think Hody deserved to be in this draft. He definitely is one of the 16 best antagonists that we've seen thus far. In terms of his placement, there is 1 or 2 people I might have chosen before him, but great pick. Also, Email was
go. The thing is, would I have picked some other people maybe before him? He wasn't gonna make it to 4. Is the thing that I think. It's so many people that was not trying to people that was fucking people up. But it was not people trying to destroy a whole. Fishman Island is basically a continent in itself. He was trying to drop an arc on a continent.
Yes. Yeah. I will say that Enel was a superb pick. That's who I was thinking about. Man, I should have took him instead of Crocodile. It's the fact that no one felt comfortable speaking in his presence. No, nobody felt comfortable speaking anywhere on an island because they thought that he was going to strike them down.
Anil Jong crazy,
impactful. So, Grant, you're on the clock. Who you picking? I know you've been. I saw you on your phone. I know you've been thinking long and hard about it.
You've been
googling.
Here's my reasoning for this pick.
Okay.
We have never seen somebody be great as an antagonist, but also as a good guy as well. And the reason for this, on top of having a very overpowered fruit, he was one of the people that helped people understand the stakes of One Piece, of saying, hey, y'all niggas need to get stronger. Y'all niggas need to understand this shit is not a game.
I know.
Give me the one, the only, Bartholomew Kuma.
Bartholomew Kuma. Okay.
When he pulled up to Thriller Bark, everybody's like, who is this nigga? Imagine having to take somebody and Zoro and no other strawberries around. Luffy was just knocked out. He was cooked from the fight for Moria. Everybody was knocked out. Zoro just sitting around there chilling. And he like, hey, you gotta take this pain. That nigga Zoro was like, what was that? Oh, that was like 1% of the damage Luffy took. You wanna take all of it? And then had to take all of it. Took it like a champ though. But on top of having a crazy ass devil fruit power, introducing him as a villain, but also as a good guy as well in the end, is why I could not leave him on the board.
I just think about the fact that like Kuma's definitely one of my favorite parts of the entire like pre-time skip in terms of like antagonists. Just the feeling of we just beat a warlord and here comes another warlord. Our captain is down and out. What do we even do in this situation? He felt like doom. And then you kind of go back to Sabobi. I think that's how you said it on art. And he appears and it's like dread. Yeah, there's not many times an antagonist has appeared in One Piece where I instantly felt like there is nothing anybody can do right now that he is here. So that's a great pick. That's a great pick, especially in the third round. Hats off to Grant for that pick. With the next pick in the third round, I can't believe he's still here. He's one of the biggest haters in One Piece. He has an insane bloodlust. He lives to tear down and defeat pirates. I'm going to go with the leader of CP9, also now the leader of CP0. I'm going with Rob Lucci, the owner of the Cat. Actually, is he a leopard? Is that his model?
I don't know.
I think it's the leopard fruit. Yeah,
I think it's the leopard fruit. That was probably like one of the best fights pre-time skip. One of my favorite fights. Just first of all, the whole Water 7 betrayal, turning out that he was this calm, quiet guy who didn't like to speak, and he was actually on the cover for years and ended up fooling everybody in Galley Law, being the undercover agent, then trying to be a mercenary who was ruthless and like a killing machine, and then pretty much flatlining Luffy in their first encounter by just poking holes in. Like that's so hard, like just to poke a hole in someone and leave them on the ground. Incredible. So yeah, I feel like there are very few characters in this draft who was more mean-spirited than and hateful than Rob Lucci. Tommy, go ahead. You're on the clock. You got 2 picks back to back. Talk to me.
So I'm trying to go for a little more balance, going for a little bit of insanity, a little bit of a control freak. I'm going next for someone who kind of just doesn't really care, kind of wants to do their own thing. This man has one of the biggest canonical bounties in the entire world of One Piece, without a crew, without any territory, and no one knows why. He goes around on a tiny little boat arms crossed, just waiting for pirates to come on by. He chops up their ship into 1,000,000 pieces and says, "Have a good day," and keeps going. This man fought who's supposed to be the coolest character in the series with a little tiny dagger and said, "I wish I had something smaller to make this a little more interesting," and one-tapped him. Give me Dracula Mihawk.
Superb pick. Talk to me, Don. How do you feel about this pick while Tommy prepares for his next pick?
I like it. I'm a big Mihawk fan. It's a big war right now between if he's stronger than Shanks or not. I done thought he was stronger ever since he done blew my boy off. It's like you don't got no other arm. I ain't got no reason to duel with you. He was nice enough to train Zoro. After Zoro he can plead.
Yeah.
But I respect it.
He's an all right guy,
I need people who are evil. I don't know Mihawk evil.
You know Mihawk is what?
I don't know if he's evil. He might be a dickhead.
No, yeah,
I don't think
he's definitely not evil. This is definitely a pick that kind of goes in the vein of just a good antagonist, because kind of like Tommy was saying, just the whole pulling up in a single boat by himself, pulling out a butter knife, and then knocking down Zoro and then leaving. Like, it's like very, very few characters, even if they've appeared more than Mihawk, have had a moment that's been more definitive than that. So that's a great pick in the third round. So we're in the last round. Here we go, guys. Tommy, lead us off. Who are you picking next?
So,
a lot of good people still left on the board too, by the way.
For every team, you need someone to be the face, to be the man of the people, the one that you could rally behind. Arguably the first iconic villain of the series. Someone who, on paper, has a horrible resume. No drip at all. No crew. But he consistently fails upwards. And I personally think he will find the One Piece first on pure accident. Give me Buggy the Clown.
Buggy the Clown.
That was gonna be my next pick too. So that's a good one, Tommy.
Brent, so how do you feel about this pick being snatched from you?
That's honestly, if we're being real, that's a pick that should have gone in the third, maybe even the second round. And the thing about Buggy is that by the time I say he's failed upward, he has basically been able to just he is a serial opportunist, and he has never failed at that, not once. And that nigga just keep failing upward, like Tommy said, man. So tats off to him. That's a great pick at that value.
He Buggy cool. He cool. He
was the closest to killing Luffy for a very long time, as well.
Was he?
Remember when he almost cut Luffy out and Luffy dad came?
You're right. Okay, yeah. I forgot about log time.
The first time we seen Buggy was throwing them buggy balls and was blowing up cities. Like, he stepped on the scene kind of looking crazy.
Also have like one of first ridiculous devil fruits we saw at this point. It's like, oh wow, devil fruits can be pretty creative. With chop fruit, which is underutilized to say the least. But yeah, he's a cool antagonist. Even though he's one of those characters I feel like he's gotten a lot of screen time, and while he's definitely been entertaining as an antagonist, he don't give me a lot.
I like to think of him as a rival. He's like Luffy's kind of the main one doing things, and then every now and then he's like Gary in Pokemon. He just kind of pulls up out of the blue, and you're like, oh damn, you added this to your team? You added that to your team? How the hell did you do that?
I like that analogy. I will say that while saying something about Buggy, who has been a staple in the series since the very beginning, I feel kind of bad to follow up with a character who probably had a combined maybe 2 episodes of screen time. So he's on the polar opposite of the spectrum from Buggy in that sense. But for me, he gripped me with his story, and he gripped me with his fight. and he is by far one of my favorite pirates that the Straw Hat Pirates have opposed throughout the entire course of the story. I think about him often, and I marvel that Oda can make me even consider drafting this guy on a team that has Blackbeard, Crocodile, and Rob Lucci. But I'm gonna take a stab in the dark, and I'm gonna take Senior Pink as my 4th pick in this draft. Senior Pink moved me with his backstory involving his wife who became comatose after losing their child, and he gave Frankie what has been so far his best fight throughout the course of One Piece. I'm a big sucker for, like, bros versus bros type fights. Like, we're gonna just fight like men type fights. It's that whole exchange, those episodes move me in a way that not many more villains left on the table have. So I could have picked some other guys here, but I'm gonna show love to Senior Pink because I think he deserved it.
That's a great pick, man.
Don, you on the clock. Talk to me.
On the clock.
It's Grant.
Grant, sorry, lost track of the order. Go ahead, Grant.
Okay, so this pick, I am absolutely shocked. This pick has not gone. This honestly, this is a low 2nd round or high 3rd round pick. And when we first saw this nigga, on top of having the coldest design I've seen. I
already know who this is.
When it comes to with Oda, when it comes to drawing warlords, Yonko commanders, he snaps. And the thing about him is that as menacing as he looks, his relationship with the rest of his crew is honestly like kind of heartwarming because he genuinely cares about them and he's not this ruthless guy. But also he had respect for when Luffy fought him. And probably, I'm not going to say one of the only times scared for Luffy, but I was a little worried. But also, the way he utilizes his devil fruit is nuts. And to top it all off, having him, this is like a first option on the NBA team that already got a first option. And then also, his hockey. Being able to see into the future. Just slightly. Just to stop Brits. Give me the one, the only, big dog, sweet commander, Katakuri.
Katakuri. I thought about Katakuri. He's also like not in that mode of he's a terrible, evil, cynical type sociopathic character. But he was a nice like twist, like especially like the devil fruit, like showing like Luffy, like you ain't like you think you really nice with your fruit, you really not that nice with your fruit. Also, his observation hockey had him like always like a step ahead. It was basically showing like Luffy, you got a ways to go, and here's a mirror reflecting a better version of you in front of you, surpass your limits. And just I love a good stoic character. So Katakuri with the next to the last pick in the draft, number 15. That's a good pick, Grant. Don, how you feel about that? And then let us know who you taking with your last pick.
It's niggas on this draft board I let meet my mama, and that's not what I'm about right now. So here's what, for my last pick, we've had commanders, we have people ruling continents, islands, cities, countries, whatever you want to say. We've had people attempt to destroy everything in their wake. We've had people wanting to make global war. Got a lot of things. But there's not a lot of scientists on here.
A great pick.
And I think there is one scientist who I personally believe is more evil than the rest of them. Because he was not only experimenting on regular folk, but he was also experimenting on children. Think of the kids. I gotta give it to Caesar Clown.
Caesar Clown was definitely on my draft board.
Experimenting, killing, tossing them to the side, doing whatever in the name kidnapping children in the name of science.
And then basically
doing whatever he wanted.
And then
This makes me think of like there's like 4 names that come to mind and that who probably should have been drafted now that I'm thinking of.
That boy killed Luffy. Well, he kind of like Luffy was like Zoro had to be like Luffy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gonna kill you.
Caesar honestly should have been drafted earlier.
Yeah, he's
inventing the small devil fruit is like kind of is really insane. Like, hey, this shit only got 10% chance of working. If this shit don't work, you laughing forever, nigga. You still can't swim.
That's the reason that the small fruits exist. That boy was putting in work. He is the reason Dofy got to do what he got to do. He's a part of the reason Kaido got to make the people in Wano as sick as they were. Like, experiment on children, made fake devil fruits. Them shits did not work. Even when they did work, people was turning to shit like that. Like, come on now. Caesar's, again, not the craziest fighter. I don't got a lot of throwing hands niggas on my team. But as far as evil, what we want in a villain, what people who are like, be locked in the villainy, this is what my team does.
And you know, my hallmark of like usually a good villain is, do I hate this character? And I hate them like they're written badly, but and saying, God, I want somebody to take this character out.
How bad do I want to see them get beat up? Everybody on my team, I want to see them get beat up.
Facts.
I take category to lunch.
Them facts.
I take Senior Pink to dinner. We can get some wine.
Them facts, dog.
I go to the movies with Mihawk.
Facts. You know, you can hang out with Buggy. Buggy be cool.
I mean, you could. I would want to. You could.
Yeah.
Me and Aokiji hoop together. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. I feel like Aokiji got a mean sky hoop.
He's like 11 feet tall or something like that. He doesn't have to jump to dunk. He just pops the ball in there.
Like what's that Terry Rozier? What's that Terry Rozier tweet? You too tall to be killing people.
He should have been hooping. But I did want to mention some names I think should have been taken. And number one, I was gonna say Vince Smoke Judge.
That was if Caesar would have got picked, I was gonna pick Judge. That's experimenting on your own family, crazy as hell.
I was gonna say, there's honestly an argument for Kizaru over Aokiji if I really think about it, because Kizaru was the first admiral we saw in action, and that nigga pulled up the Saba Hody, and I was like, I gotta do what I gotta do. And pretty much popped every single supernova in there. On top of, he's one of the coolest bootlickers ever. I ain't gonna lie to you. That nigga said, I gotta do. He said, this is orders. Like in the last year, this is orders. Like I'm like, dude, you too cool for all this. Your pen is cool.
Stand up.
Like stand up.
Some people I think could have potentially been drafted. I think Orochi could have been drafted because he definitely he also played a very intricate part in having people in Wano ahead. He was, although Kaido was the power, he was the face.
He was a cockroach.
I think, and the fact that he had 9 lives and like I think Arlong could be on here.
Arlong, they gonna get onto us about drafting Arlong. I can tell you that right now.
He had that town in shambles, and then told Nami, kill Nami mama. Then said, "Hey, if you give me this money, like I'll release your town." Then she brought him the money, and he was like, "I'm just kidding. You know, I'm a pirate. Like that's what I do." And had Luffy not been there, she'd have been sick. I was gonna say Kuro. I think Hogback could have been drafted. I don't know if y'all remember his Thriller Bark escapades.
Oh, he was nasty.
Gecko Moria.
He's a nasty man. First of all, he had Gecko Moria resurrect a girl he wanted that did not want him, so she could be his wife. Then on top of that, Basically, the reason why a part of the reason why Gecko Moria's zombie army was so strong because of him. Like he was doing damage over there. Like the reason why like Oars had the little middle part that Moria could control is because of Hogback. Like he was going crazy over there.
I forgot about Hogback.
The last person I think that could have got drafted is my boy in the back, Waffle. Although that arc was short and very humorous, the fact that he basically like took over that kingdom and killed every doctor except 2, and it was only because he couldn't get to him. And then he killed every doctor except 1. He's OD. Like he basically was like, either y'all only help me or none of these people get nothing. And so yeah, Wapple was really OD for that. I think he very well could have been on this draft board.
Oh, absolutely. A couple names. So Gecko Moria, definitely. He basically banished people to the Shadow Realm. They literally could not leave the shadows, otherwise they would cease to exist. Judge was a good pick. He was all on a good pick. Guys, we hadn't said Spandam. He was definitely one of the characters where I hope, I pray someone knocks him out. Horrible human being. Absolutely atrocious human being. During the not Impel Down, but Eni's Lobby arc. And then Magellan. I thought he was a great antagonist. He was like the boogeyman all throughout Impel Down. Like the whole time you're like, I hope Luffy don't run into him. And when he did, Luffy was almost on his deathbed. When Blackbeard ran into him, he was on his deathbed. Just a great antagonist. He's basically like Pac-Man chasing the ghost. Like that's what he was in that arc. Great antagonist. That's it.
I was gonna say quick thing. I was gonna say Kuro.
Captain Kuro, I like Captain Kuro a lot. I'm not crazy about the entire arc. I love Captain Kuro.
The only thing is that Kuro was like truly, he was pretty damn ruthless. Like he was like, fuck y'all, fuck this crew. I don't give a fuck about y'all niggas. Y'all go somewhere.
If he wasn't only just trying to steal money, I think he probably would have, because he really was just like, all right, I'm just about to like finesse this little small part-time job, and then I'm gonna do my own thing. If he had, bitch, you think it's small, you gotta think big. If he was thinking big, I think he could have done this board. But he definitely was also ruthless.
He was a great first like main antagonist, because that's how I view him. I view him as like the first main antagonist for the crew.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it. One more.
Oh, go ahead. What's one
more that I think everyone agrees one of the most satisfying parts of the series is seeing this man get absolutely rocked by Luffy the first time.
Yes.
The peak of privilege and like bigotry and entitlement in all of One Piece. Charlos.
Yes.
Absolutely despicable human being. Has like 10 wives, doesn't care for any of them, enslaves people on the spot because he can and he wants to, basically the face of the Celestial Dragons, and doesn't learn his lesson. He does it again at the Reverie, and he gets rocked again, and he has no consequences outside of that. I'm shocked he didn't get drafted.
Yes. I thought about
he didn't get drafted. That's why I kind of wanted to draft the Celestial Dragons as a whole, or I wanted to see if that was an option, because 99.9% of them do the exact same thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so if you pick Charlos as a character, then that means you pretty much would have picked like, because he's definitely not the worst. He's just the worst.
It's like in a one-off instance, like he's shitty, but it's like everybody over there kind of do the same thing. But I think in the grand scope of evil, it's like if we picking like worst people in the history of the world, and I pick like a slave master in the 1880s. It's like he not slavery.
Relatively speaking, there's worse.
It's a slavery up there. A singular slave master, nah. It's that's why. That's why I was saying if that was an option.
All right, that's it. That brings us to the end of the One Piece villain draft. Like I said, go ahead, smash that like button, drop a comment. Let us know what draft you want us to do next. We appreciate y'all. Y'all stay easy, stay problematic. We out.